Every Tesla Model 3 and Y owner will tell you that the aircon in these cars is great, but you know what isn't so good? That glass roof for letting through actual radiant heat. So I'm going to address that by installing the Otrifowd Fullshade system and tell you why maybe you don't need to actually get one, why you probably do need to get one, and whether or not it's any good. Before we get into this video, full disclosure, Otrifowd did reach out to me to do this video, so I do get a little commission if you use my referral code below, but doing so actually gets you 10% off. Knowing that, I'm going to give you my honest opinion on this, and those guys, they had no editorial control on this nor input, so let's get straight into it. In recent years, glass roofs, like in Teslas, have become very popular, and most all of them have a tint on it that actually blocks out up to 80 to 90% of UVA rays. And all of the glass on cars, by the way, including your home, will block out 99% of UVB rays. But what they don't do is actually block that radiant heat. Think that hot sun out there and how it has built-in heat. There's no getting around that. And so Teslas, yeah, sure, they're really good at actually getting the aircon to a great space, and most of the cabin will be fine. But there is no getting around the fact that you will absolutely feel the heat through that glass, and don't care who you are, and there'll be comments down below saying it doesn't affect them, but mate, I think most of us agree that on a hot summer's day in Australia, you're gonna feel it. Now, there are solutions like these sort of things that you put into the roof, and I've reviewed them before, and Tesla's is actually like a bit of a shade. It doesn't give you a full block out. This one actually does, but you know, it's actually a right royal pain in the ass having to install them. And then, you know, in Melbourne, it's called 4 seasons in one day for very good reason. It could go from belting rain, overcast, absolutely sunny like it is now, back to rain again, all within the space of a few hours. And if you take the time to install this, and it takes a good several minutes, like about 10 minutes, yeah, it gets pretty annoying very fast. And so I've been looking for a solution that the Otrifowd has actually addressed. So let's get to install it and tell you why it's good. This thing's huge. And look, without even getting to the unboxing just yet, I can understand that this is going to be a permanent fixture in your car. And yeah, look, you're paying for quality materials, this being a whole piece, and shipping. So yeah, for up-to-date pricing, and remember, you get that 10% off by using the code, look below. But let's get this thing together. This is Amy, by the way. She's my little helper. Everything's already assembled, ready to go. So time is on. Let's see how long it takes. First up, turn these little plastic holders to the outer edge and screw in the 2 provided screws. Next, take it to your car and pass it from the back to the front using the sun visors to hold it in place whilst you insert it into this space at the back of the glass. Next up, align these little black pieces with the screw holes. This is not that easy. I just spent more than half an hour getting just one of these little holders into that screw. I'll attempt the next one now, but it was so quick until this started. Anyway, I'll do the second one and I'll tell you what I did and how I did it.
A few moments later.
That took 10 minutes that time for the second one. And okay, here's what I found. 1, do not pre-install it and just try and flick it into the little slot there. That did not work, and you're probably going to damage your Alcantara. In fact, I did a little bit here, but yeah, I think the previous clips I'd done with the other shade had also probably damaged the Alcantara there. So here's my top tip. Use a reflection on the actual top glass to find out where you're pointing that screw. Now, because the screw is going through a tunnel, there's not a lot of play with it, but you can maneuver it a wee bit to actually get it into that hole. And the other thing too is that with the clips, move the clip using the pry tool left or right just slightly. Try it again, try it again, try it again. It's left or right, and then eventually you'll get it. So now I just got to finish it off, wipe down the Alcantara, and let's test it out. all installed now and working, and it's great in that with just one hand you can slide the back bit or the front bit to whatever position you want, and it seems like there's actually some sort of magnets in there that are snapping that together, so that's very good. It looks almost identical to the Alcantara that's in your Tesla, but it is slightly a different color. Now, my Tesla is 1 year old, so maybe the Tesla's changed something, I'm not sure. You're thinking, Chris, how is this any better to the other thin things? And that's exactly the point. The other ones are very thin and they don't insulate, they just block the sun. This, on the other hand, is actually like a honeycomb pattern, and it's got insulation inside of it, and it's got aluminium in there as well. So it's not only going to be reflecting heat, it's also going to be absorbing some of it and stopping it getting on you. Well, I reckon it's now getting too late for the sun to be on my noggins, so we'll do a test tomorrow when the sun's actually fully out.
Tomorrow.
Alright, sun's almost over our heads right now, so time to take it out and give it a test. And I'm going to be checking for rattles and squeaks because I really hate that. Like, my car's already got a few noises and I don't want to add to it, obviously. And yeah, see if that makes any difference. We'll do different configurations, maybe roof open, just over me, or the front bit rather, back bit, all closed, all that jazz. And I'll let you know how that goes. That went really well, and I'm actually grateful that there's no noises whatsoever. Now, I think the next thing we need to do here is test it, leaving it out in the sun to have a bit of a bake. So I'll give the car a wash. Yes, it is dirty, you probably can't see it, but I can see it. And then after leaving the shade open, I'll close it and we'll recheck it. Alright, it's only 20 degrees right now, it's supposed to get to 24, and I just washed the car. And I've left the sunshade open and the interior temperature is 34 degrees. I'm going to do a temperature check on the top of the headrest, and then we'll close it and we'll come back in about half an hour and see if there's actually, well, maybe kept the temperature, or I expect it hopefully to decrease the temperature. So let's try that. 42.3, and yeah, let's close the shade up and I'll try again in about half an hour. Just realized, as the day goes on, it's only going to get hotter. In fact, it's already 1 degree warmer than it was before. The temperature's still 34 though, so that's encouraging. Maybe the test is going to be that radiant heat that will come off, well, would have come off the headrest. So let's test it now. The car's keeping itself cool, but I haven't got climate protection on. So if you're hearing that noise in the background, that's just, you know, the computer keeping itself happy and the battery happy. Anyway, let's do it. Well, there you go. That's actually better. So 35.9 versus what was it before? 42, 43? It's that is actually doing what it's supposed to do. All right, let's wrap this video up. After a day of testing, what's my verdict? Well, it was only like 24 degrees in Melbourne today, and sure, the sun was out. The true test here will be one of those 30, 35 degree days in Melbourne or Perth or wherever you might live. So I think I need to do some more testing with this. But in terms of installation, I'll give it like 3 out of 10. It was just a bit frustrating getting those front screws in. Otherwise, it was great because it was pre-assembled. I truly believe that the aluminium foil design, that every single cell is blocking heat coming through, along with light transmission, means that this will make this cabin a lot more comfortable. Now, if you're new to Tesla, do you need this? Well, just wait till you get your car before you go order any accessories. That's always my best advice to you. But if you've frequently got people who are sitting in the car whilst you're out doing an errand or vice versa, think kids, think animals, I think this is almost an absolute must, almost. Remember, the aircon in the Tesla does a good job, and the glass, well, yeah, you'll feel the heat on your head. So if you're that person, that's me. I think it's a great installation. And it means that I no longer have to keep taking down and putting up those temporary shade things, which, let's face it, they're very flimsy. They don't do a very good job. And verdict so far, I think better. Again, another month with it would be great. I'll do a short video when that comes out, but otherwise, if you enjoy this content, please do consider subscribing. It's absolutely free. It helps out the channel, along with typing a little comment or liking it, sharing it. They help too. And if you love coffee like I do, give me a coffee tip, please. I really appreciate that. Otherwise, you'll be good and you'll be green.